Well, from wherever you are watching us in Kenya and around the world, this is Legends Edition, coming to you live from the capital city of Nairobi, Kenya, right here in Broadcasting House. Good evening. I'm Mboya. Tom in this live broadcast. Reverse gear. CS Aisha Jumwa lifts ban on Disco Matanga as she launches 16 days of activism in Kilifi. Authorities on high alert as cholera death toll rises to 10 in Nairobi's Kayole estate. In search of their ancestors, 30 African Americans are in the country as the Return to Africa campaign gains momentum. Many thanks indeed for making the Legend Edition your choice tonight. Our sign language interpreter is Lucy Mwaura. Our socials at KBC Channel 1. My Twitter handle at Mboya24. Straight to our top story, and it's a story of men. Men have been identified as a key component in the fight against gender-based violence. The revelation comes as leaders call for concerted efforts in the fight against the vice as Kenya joins the world in beginning 16 days of activism. This as Public Service, Gender and Affirmative Action Cabinet Secretary Aisha Jumwa lifts the ban on Disco Matanga. Jumwa claims that that ban had a negative impact on the business of disco operators. She spoke when she officially launched the 16 days of activism at water grounds that took place in Kilifi County. Ruth Wamboi opens our coverage tonight with that ban story.
The launch of 16 days of activism against gender-based violence by Public Service, Gender and Affirmative Action CS Aisha Jumwa in Kilifi County was deliberate, given that the county is among those leading in the vice in the country.
Special courts za kudili na maneno ya GBV. Na hizi lazima zitembee kila mahali katika county.
Here, Jumwa announced the lifting of Disco Matanga, claiming the restriction has hurt business for the disco owners. However, the lifting of the ban came in with a warning.
Tunataka polisi watusaidie kupigana na dhulma za kijinsia na msiwe promoters wa kupigana na masuala haya.
Disco Matanga, which is normally accompanied by heavy entertainment equipment played at nightclubs during funerals, has been blamed for gender-based violence cases against girls, leading to early pregnancies and other social problems. This is as Kilifi County leaders have called for unity in the war against gender-based violence.
Tumesema pia tuongeza pesa katika kitengo cha jinsia cha county ili tuweze kufanya uhamasisho wa kutosha baada hata ya siku 16 hizi ambazo zinafika.
In a bid to ensure girls and women are safe from harmful practices like FGM, some counties have started enforcing laws to deal with gender violators.
We shall be able to reach out to men with our interventions and with our sensitization to make sure they are involved as champions of the fight against gender-based violence.
These 16 days, we work hand with the partners to ensure that the girl child or the women are not endangered.
Elsewhere, Mandera leaders have been massively to end violence against women and girls. Led by Mandera CC for Gender, Shamsanur, the leaders said her department will work on sensitizing residents on preservation of evidence.
Nye utalea watoto yako, ndivyo watoto wako watalea ile generation ambayo inakuja.
Chief, unaketi ati kuangalia kama tunaweza lipana. Uwezi lipana criminal offense. Criminal offense zote ziende pitia police na iende kotini.
This year's International Day will mark the launch of 16 days of activism that will conclude on 10th December 2022, which is International Human Rights Day. Ruth Wamboi reporting for Legends Edition.
An item now here on cholera. 8 more people have succumbed to cholera in Kayole, that's in Nairobi County, raising the death toll from the waterborne disease to 10 over the last 2 weeks. Separately, Isiolo County government has confirmed 2 more cases of cholera in the region, prompting the regional government to ban hawking in Isiolo town as well as its environs. Irene Uchuma Odim is on that story.
Sensitization efforts have begun in earnest in various parts of the country to curb the spread of cholera outbreak. In Nairobi, Soweto, Kayole area, local administration and officials from County Government of Nairobi have urged locals to exercise caution while handling food and water for home use and ending the spread of the waterborne disease.
Wananchi tumekubaliana hii chakula inauzwa kwa barabara, wawache kuiuza mpaka mambo ikuwe mzuri.
According to health officials in Kayole, at least 60 people have been treated from the disease in the last few weeks and another 10 people have succumbed to the disease.
Sisi tufanye kazi yetu kama daktari, kazi itakuwa rahisi. Tumalize kolera, maisha turudi ya kawaida.
While in a meeting with landlords in Kayole, the area leaders committed to ensure improved hygiene in the locality. Residents in Kayole want trenches unblocked to avert possible mix of tap water with sewer dirt.
Mimi kile kitu ningeomba tu serikali irudishe kazi kwa vijana, maana kazi kwa vijana imekuwa ikituondolea uchafu kwa mashimo huku nje kwa mitaro. Sasa mitaro zimejaa.
Kuna wengine wamefunga sewer lines kwa kupitia kwa ile ujenzi wamefanya. Kwa hivyo pia kama serikali itapitia hapo na ikuambie urekebishe, tafadhali ninakuomba wewe kama landlord ufanye nini? Uweze kushirikiana na serikali tuweze kurekebisha hapa, ndio kila kitu fanye nini iweze kwenda sawa sawa.
In Isiolo, the County Department of Health Services has banned the hawking of food in Isiolo town and its environs indefinitely following the confirmation of 2 cases of cholera disease in the area. The County Deputy Governor James Lowassa, who also doubles up as the County Executive Committee member in charge of health services, says the ban aims at protecting locals from being sold food below the required health standards.
Sasa wakati wa mvua ni rahisi sana kupata magonjwa. Na pia tumefunga vibanda ambavyo vimeuza chakula hapo kwa streets. Hiyo ni wale wanauza mutura, wanauza samosa, mayai. Kwa sasa hiyo yote tumefunga kwa sababu ni hatari kwa watu wetu ambao wako ndani ya town.
Irene Mchuma Odem, the Legends Edition.
Let's move away from the war on cholera to another war, this time the war on crime. And Interior Cabinet Secretary Professor Kithure Kindiki has pledged to continue embracing a multi-agency approach in dealing with crime in the country and also safeguarding the security of all citizens. He made the remarks during his tour of Kanyonyo Border Patrol Training College. He added that this approach will ensure fast response to any security concerns in the country.
Speaking during his tour at Kanyonyo Border Patrol Training College, Interior Cabinet Secretary Professor Kithure Kindiki said the ministry will continue embracing a multi-agency approach in dealing with crime across the country.
Increasingly, our security sector is using the multi-agency approach to counter terrorism, to counter international organized crime and other complex crimes, including trafficking in persons and narcotic drugs and illegal movements of persons.
The CS said the government will use all available resources to secure the nation from any elements of criminality. Kindiki says the approach will enable security officers drawn from different agencies to collaborate, leading to improvement in the state of security in the country.
Got a lot of achievements, some of which I cannot discuss here, and we feel the country is safe with an enhanced border police unit.
Kindiki says even though the government abolished traffic road barriers some time back, specialized barriers would still continue being operational in order to curb crime in the country.
We will retain specialized roadblocks for for the border control police to help us in thwarting and detecting this kind of crime.
The CS at the same time assured security agencies that the government will continue to provide all the facilitation required to enable them conduct their duties effectively.
Wow. You can move this way, sir.
Now, a group of Ethiopian migrants is pleading with the Kenyan government to consider them in the ongoing distribution of relief assistance to those affected by the lengthy dry spell. The families that have been camping at Uran, that's in Marsabit County, for now 2 months, say that they fled their country in search of greener pastures after losing their entire livelihood to drought. But as Edward Kabasa reports, the migrants have found themselves between a rock and a hard place. Why? The Kenyan government is now saying that it's already dealing with quite a lot in its plate. Here's that report.
It is 1 p.m. in Uran, Marsabit County. Jilo Abduba fills a jerrycan with water. Despite its color, it is the only fresh one available here. This water pan serves the residents of Uran and this village. This camp is home to over 650 families that fled drought and hunger in southern Ethiopia. They have been camping here for more than 2 months, and many more are still trickling in, like this couple that has just arrived and is setting up shelter. Sori Boru has been ailing for weeks, but just like everyone here, she too has lost everything to drought. With little to eat and no medical care, her neighbors tell me that things can only get tougher.
Hatuna namna kwa sababu kama mvua itanyesha tunaweza hata lima shamba. Alafu sasa hata hii situation tunakaa na wewe mwenyewe unaona hakuna choo wala hata babu ya kuogelea. Hii watu, watoto, wanawake, wazee ndio wako hapa. Sasa sisi tunaomba tu Mungu. Anine Edward na jedani. Sirene dani.
Jilo Dabaso jedani.
Jilo Dabaso anaitwa Jilo Dabaso.
60-year-old Jilo Dabaso is a mother of 6. She's visually impaired and is fully dependent on her children, some of whom are not here. Kule Kire welcomes me into her tiny hut that she shares with her husband. I am pleading with the Kenyan government to help us with food and shelter. Kule tells me.
Anasema anaomba Mungu afya njema, uhai, usalama na chakula.
Over 36.1 million people are currently battling severe drought across the Horn of Africa. 24.1 million of them are in Ethiopia. Children are the most affected by the obtaining situation, and most of them here are suffering from respiratory illnesses because of the harsh weather. The government, however, is adamant that these people must leave and seek assistance from the Ethiopian government.
And they came purposely because of the water. And now that the rains have fallen the other side, I want to believe that we have adequate supply of water. And there is no other reason for them to remain there.
Marsabit County Commissioner Paul Rotich says Kenya is already battling the drought and is busy feeding her people.
We don't have resources as government to feed foreign nationals. Why? Because I have said there is a functional authority across.
There has been a meeting between the national government through the Interior Ministry and the administration in Ethiopia for them to go back so that their own government facilitate their food, water needs, and livestock feed.
The government's position on the presence of these migrants may perhaps leave this already desperate lot with few choices to make. The Kenya-Ethiopia border is just a few kilometers behind me. These people say that they have been crossing that border over the years in search of greener pastures. But the situation is different now. They say that they have lost all their livestock to the lengthy dry spell, and there's nothing to go back to. Reporting for Channel 1 in the outskirts of Uran, Marsabit County, I am Edward Kabasa.
Well, I was just trying to quickly find out what the Refugee Act of 2021 says in regards to protection and management of refugees. But let's go on to another story. The government of Australia now says that it will work with Kenya to ensure that there is lasting peace in those areas that have been witnessing rising cases of insecurity as a result of banditry attacks and also cattle rustling. Speaking during a peace forum in Turkey, that's in West Pokot, the Australian High Commissioner to Kenya, Luke Williams, lauded the government and also other peace actors in their efforts to bring together the Pokot and Turkana communities. Timothy Kipnusu is on that report.
Day 2 of the peace campaign in Turkwel, West Pokot County. The message of peace, love and unity reverberated the air. Speaking after flagging off a peace race, Australian High Commissioner to Kenya, Luke Williams, promised to support the peace efforts in Kenya.
All about encouraging peace in what are challenging times across the globe. So for the Australian High Commission, we're very pleased to be able to do what we can to support this fantastic ambassador for Kenya.
World Marathon champion Tekla Rupe, on the other hand, condemned conflicts currently witnessed in the region, saying that the situation is making the region lag behind in development.
When we talk about our conflict people from this area, also the refugees, they have gone through hardship, and therefore this is a synergized performance.
She, however, urged parents to desist from marrying off their girls at a young age, but instead educate them so they can be dependable members of society in future.
We need education using this water because these are the small girls that they are being forced for early marriages. And our football woman, she's going to support them. They can play at the same time. They can do their needlework.
This sporting activity that brings love and so much to share between communities. Conflict only brings suffering and pain.
Ni vema serikali kuje kusaidia hii jamii ya Turkana, Pokot na Marakwet kuhakikisha wanafunzi waendelee na masomo yake. Hii ndio chombo ambayo itataka kubadilisha jamii hizi tatu kwa ujumla.
We have to find lasting solutions so that these people can disarm, so they can live together harmoniously and in cohesion to be able to do activities like environmental management, climate change, and issue of food security.
Those who participated in the race want the government to empower the youth with economical activities to deter them from crime.
Vijana haswa wale hapa wajiunge katika mambo haya ya sports na mambo mengine ili to keep off from the insecurity na mambo mengine ili kuindulge kwa vitu ambayo yawasaidii.
Timothy Kipnusu for Legends Edition.
Peace in the northeast part of Kenya. That story brings us to our fast break right here on Legends Edition. We'll be back. Stay with us.
Make transactions anywhere in the world with the NCBA Visa card and stand a chance to win big. Join the FIFA World Cup 2022 when you win an all-expenses-paid trip for you and your +1 to watch 2 games. Or win exciting weekly prizes that will make your FIFA viewing experience super duper. All it takes is a swipe or a tap to pay 2,000 Kenya shillings or more with your NCBA Visa debit or credit card. The more you swipe or tap to pay, the higher your chances of winning with 1 point for every 2,000 Kenya shillings spent. Don't miss out. NCBA. Go for it.
I was part of the team ilitumwa to take out Burhan. Nilikaa for 5 years, nika study the man. Na tukaenda tukijua kwamba mambo ilikuwa nzuri. All I ask is you let me right my wrongs and give me an opportunity to bring Burhan down for good.
Na una hakika hiki kikosi chako kitaweza kufanya hivyo?
Yes, sir. Hii kikosi yako kuna kina nani?
Sergeant Farah, aka
Stingray,
Intelligence. Corporal Ibrahim, aka
Mongoose,
Intelligence. Corporal Katana, aka
Panther,
Medic.
Cover me!
BC Adhiambo, aka
Maliet,
Machine Gun. BC Kibet, aka
University,
Sniper. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Nasikia wasewa sahihi tunakuanga wadedi.
Tatu ni polisi kama sisi.
Chini, chini.
Ukilipa bidhaa kama kawa kuna maswali.
Return to base. I repeat, return to base.
Pay with your Visa card and lead the action this World Cup. Visa, official FIFA partner.
Welcome back. Now, children under the age of 18 can now conduct transactions, believe it or not, in a regulated cash transaction application, though, in a bid to promote the financial literacy among minors. At the same time, Information, Communication and Digital Economy Cabinet Secretary Eliud Owalo has said that the ministry will work towards implementing strategies that will protect digital fiber optic cables while reviewing policies that protect children from, you know what, cyberbullying.
As the world undergoes a digital transformation, the inclusion of the upcoming generation is a key move to ensure continuity, as empowering minors will help to pave way for greater technological advancements. To create financial inclusion and digital literacy,
to challenge the ordinary, kufocus on future yenye unataka.
Safaricom has launched a modified M-Pesa application that will allow minors to perform transactions in a controlled manner. The application will allow minors to have access to financial services with minimal parental supervision so as to sharpen their entrepreneurial skills.
This generation is seeking inclusion and independence in this digital world so that parents and guardians need the tools to guide them and protect them.
Information, Communication and Digital Economy Cabinet Secretary Eliud Owalo commended the launch of the M-Pesa Go application, saying the launch of the financial product for children is a milestone.
Our young ones should not just be exposed to digital technology and opportunities, but they must also be protected from cyber abuse.
He said that policies to protect digital infrastructure will be put in place to ensure reduced vandalism.
Critical digital infrastructure must be protected, and we are indeed going to work with all integral stakeholders to ensure that it is protected.
The move to socially integrate minors into cash transactions will improve their managerial and entrepreneurial skills while enabling them to navigate and thrive in a cashless world. Living in a digital age, there is a need to create an environment that will allow the current generation to thrive. For KBC Channel 1, I am Teresa Mutai.
From technology, let's see what is inside of our news roundup. Kenyans affected by the ongoing drought will benefit from relief food worth 1 million shillings under Food Bank in Kenya, donated by Peponi School. The director of Food Bank in Kenya has assured students of Peponi School that their food will reach the said Kenyans. This and more in our Nairobi News Roundup.
I think I dropped my oil. Peponi School in Nairobi has donated food to help Kenyans who are starving in the country. According to the student leader, other schools should adapt to the same initiative to help the less fortunate. Elsewhere, residents of Rai demonstrate for jobs amid a local supermarket opening 88 outlets in Rai. Led by Richard Mwangi, chairman Kasarani community-based organization, the residents claim they were promised 70% jobs by the management, but they did just the opposite. The management has declined to comment on the matter.
We are not demanding, but we are requesting to the organization, we are requesting to the management, Naivas management, so that they can do what we are asking them to do. Because you cannot export laborers. We cannot export laborers from the various, from regional, whereas the local youth have no job.
Naivas tumewaandikia 6 months ago. Tulienda paka head office tuwaandikia barua, tuko na vijana ambao wako Ruai wamehitimu kuandikwa kazi. Wakakuja wakadudanganya, wakakuja hapa tukaingia kwa ofisi tukapata wakijenga. Wakatuambia nyinyi nafasi zenyu ziko. Leo hii juzi tulikuja hapa wakatuambia nafasi waliandikana 3 months ago.
Finally, the Kenya Peasants League, in conjunction with other human rights organizations, have condemned the importation of chemical pesticides in the country, saying they are exposing Kenyans to diseases. Led by the General Secretary,
kemikali zinazoingia hapa nchini, 76% ziko na zile madhara katika afya za wananchi ama za wakulima. Kwa hivyo sisi tunashangazwa ni kwa nini serikali bado inakubali kuigizwa kwa hizo kemikali ilhali wanajua vizuri ya kwamba ziko na madhara katika afya za wananchi.
Pauline Nasimiu for Legends Edition.
It was sweet freedom for a mother of 3 who had been remanded at the Embu GK prison with 1-month-old baby, as well as nursing a cesarean section wound. Rosemary Muroge, who also vied for the women rep Embu County seat, found herself on the wrong side of the law when she was accused of theft. Immediately, she was discharged from hospital. Nancy Okware with that report.
Embu GK prisons. Rosemary Murugi's paperwork is being processed ahead of her release after being in remand alongside her 1-month-old baby for 1 week. And as the prison gates opened, Murugi, who unsuccessfully vied for the Embu Member of Parliament seat, could not hide her joy as she walked to freedom. Her family was at hand to receive her. She found herself on the wrong side of the law. After she was accused of theft, immediately she was discharged from hospital after delivering through cesarean section.
Nimekuwa hapa for the last 7 days. Nilishikwa last week. Na nimekuwa hapa na niko na mtoto mdogo. Na Nilifanyiwa CS, so nilikuja hapa kidonda ikafunguka. So nimekuwa na mashida mingi tangu nikuje hapa.
Kulingana na kesi ambayo ilimushika kupitia mtu ambaye wanajuana wanakaa naye, ikapindi isukuma mpaka kwa koti.
Unable to raise the 30,000 shillings prescribed as bond by a Siakago court, she was put behind bars alongside her newborn baby.
Maisha hapa ndani si mazuri, chakula si, ukiwa na mtoto hakuna mtu atakupea chakula special. Chakula ni ile mnaenda kukula nyinyi wote. Na unajua mtu akiwa na mtoto anafaa kule mara mingi ndio upate maziwa ya kunyonyesha mtoto, juu kama mtoto wangu ni mtoto mdogo akuli chakula.
It will take the intervention of Embu woman representative Njoki Njeru to secure her release from prison.
Na pia vikundi ambavyo vinatetea kina mama kama FIDA, nitashirikiana na wao tuweze kumsaidia mmoja wetu Rosemary Murugi aweze kutoka katika janga hili. Hata wale mama wengine ambao wanapitia mambo kama haya watanijulisha niweze kuwashikanisha na kushirikiana pamoja na FIDA na mawakili wetu.
Nancy Okware, Legends Edition.
Now, a family in Nairobi is seeking financial aid to raise 5 million shillings their daughter's treatment. The 5-month-old Amba Oburu was diagnosed with liver cirrhosis and is in urgent need of a liver transplant to save her life. The treatment, which is scheduled to be done in India, is approximated to cost that figure that I've just given, 5 million shillings. Here's her story.
Amba May Oburu was born a normal child on the 18th of May this year. And it was until she turned 3 months old that her parents noticed an unusual color in her eyes.
So we went to Kisumu Specialist Hospital where we got admitted. At that point, that is when the doctor said the liver enzymes were so high. So they suspected an issue with the liver.
The baby's condition continued to deteriorate, necessitating a liver biopsy, which would later reveal that baby Amba was suffering from end-stage liver disease.
The results came a week later, and we were told that she has liver cirrhosis stage 4, which the doctor told us is irreversible. The next morning, being a Tuesday, on changing the baby's diaper, we realized that her poop had blood. So we called the doctor, who told us to rush for an admission because that would mean she's bleeding internally.
The pediatric gastroenterologist referred baby Amba to the Fortis Hospital in India, where she is set to undergo a liver transplant alongside the father, Jeff Oburu, as the donor and the mother as the caregiver at an estimated cost of 5 million Kenya shillings.
It was a little heavy on us because you wouldn't imagine a baby of 5 months having liver cirrhosis, and even up to date, the cost is not yet known. We talked to the hospitals in India, and they're telling us that we need to deposit 80% of the treatment amount, which we can't afford.
The family says their regular hospital visits are not only agonizing, but have also drained them financially.
The insurance has pulled out. Upon being told that the baby needed a liver transplant, we had now to start looking for funds from friends, well-wishers, airing it out and all that. So we were raising money to go to India, as well as raising money to pay the hospital bill.
They are now appealing to well-wishers to come to their aid to save Amber's life.
Time is not on our side. Really, time is not on our side. Any day I wake up, I see her, I feel like I don't have the time to see the baby. But I just pray that all goes on well and we get to India so that she can get the transplant done.
Contributions can be channeled through M-Changa account, business number 891300, account number 59594, or through Equity Bank, business number 247247, account number 182792, account name Jeffa Jr. Contributions can be channeled through M-Changa account, business number 891300, account number 59594, or through Equity Bank, business number 247247, Account number 182792. Account name Jeffa Jr. Trevor Ngendo for Legends Edition.
Our prayers with baby Amber. Now, the Kenya Society of Hematology and Oncology is calling on government to legislate and allocate 10% of the country's annual income to cancer research countrywide. Speaking at the close of the 4-day conference in Mombasa, Kesho chairperson Miriam Mutebi insists that the move will help to manage the killer disease that claims over 25,000 lives annually.
Prostate, breast, esophageal and liver cancers are the leading types of cancers in Kenya. However, cancer experts claim little research has been conducted to analyze its prevention, management and treatment over the years.
This bibliometric analysis is a first start because it makes us confront the idea that, yes, we're not actually aligned, but then the whole idea behind this situation is to realize what can we do better.
The Kenya Society of Hematology and Oncology chairperson Miriam Mutebi underscored the deliberate need to pump more resources to research programs, particularly around palliative and supportive care, as well as patient-reported outcomes.
How do we dedicate at least 10% of that fund, of the GDP, to actually cancer research specifically, and using this to help answer these pertinent questions?
I agree. Whatever percentage is decided by the government, but it should be something that improves life, longevity of life and quality of life.
Mutebi further appealed to the government to give stakeholder autonomy to access information that will shape the infrastructure of the county and national government over the next 5 years.
Research institutions and universities are underfunded, and so they have to rely frequently on external funding. And of course, if you're the one providing the funding, then you're definitely going to identify the agenda.
Over 200 policymakers attended the 4 days conference that is aimed at improving outcomes, innovations, strategies, and opportunities for cancer patients. Juni Karisa Mbele from Mombasa County.
Typical phrase there is that they are a little bit different. They've lost something in this game. Here is a shot, and finally it's in the net. And the best of what has happened is the hard shot. A touchback and right into the net by Famara Diedou. Oh, here is a header that totally beats everybody else. It comes from the danger man, Almoeza. The Senegalese side, they've got the youthfulness in them and creativity and skill as well. This one is in the net. And that's the kind of skill that was expected of Senegal earlier on.
With your Equity cards, there is no need to carry cash or visit the ATM. Enjoy secure, convenient, and stress-free payments at no extra charge with your Equity cards. Jumambo ni kulipa na Equity card.
So the typical phrase there is that they are a little bit different. They've lost something in this game. Here is a shot, and finally it's in the net. Coming off the right and hard foot of Bulaitia, the Salernitana striker puts the ball in the net.
From the Qatari, look at this kind of ball here. The Qatari, they made a mistake and they've been punished from that mistake. It's not that Senegal really put the pressure on the the Qatari side. It's actually a mistake.
Well, there's going to be two things that would happen there. The best of what has happened is the hard shot that came in from the predatory instincts of Bulai Tia. Changing the scoreline for Senegal.
Make transactions anywhere in the world with the NCBA Visa card and stand a chance to win big. Join the FIFA World Cup 2022 when you win an all-expenses-paid trip for you and your +1 to watch 2 games. Or win exciting weekly prizes that will make your FIFA viewing experience super duper. All it takes is a swipe or a tap to pay 2,000 Kenya shillings or more with your NCBA Visa debit or credit card. The more you swipe or tap to pay, the higher your chances of winning with 1 point for every 2,000 Kenya shillings spent. Don't miss out. NCBA. Go for it.
I was part of the team ilitumwa to take out Burhan. Nilikaa for 5 years, nika study the man. Na tukaenda tukijua kwamba mambo yalikuwa nzuri. All I ask is you let me right my wrongs and give me an opportunity to bring Burhan down for good.
Na una hakika hiki kikosi chako kitaweza kufanya hivyo?
Yes, sir.
Hii kikosi yako kuna kina nani?
Sergeant Farah, a.k.a.
Stingray,
Intelligence. Kopro Ibrahim, a.k.a.
Mongoose,
Intelligence. Kopro Katana, a.k.a.
Panther,
Medic. Come on me! PC Adhiambo, a.k.a.
Maliet,
Machine Gun. PC Kibet, a.k.a.
University,
Sniper. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Nasikia wasewa sahihi tunakuanga wadedi.
Watu ni polisi kama sisi.
Chini, chini.
Deliver bidhaa kama kawa kuna maswali.
Return to base. I repeat, return to base.
Welcome back to Legends Edition, our socials at KBC Channel 1, my Twitter handle at Mboya24. Cancer mortality rising, the Kenyan government reiterating its commitment to work with all stakeholders to make Kenya's education system more accommodating of the digital component in order to boost its resilience. This resolve was made during the Kenya EdTech Summit 2022, which was held right here in the capital city of Nairobi. The summit brings together diverse stakeholders in education technology to discuss a common way forward for the country. Here's that report.
Francis Karanja, the head of National ICT, Innovation and Integration Center in the Ministry of Education, said adoption of partnerships was key in advancing education technology in the country. Karanja stressed the importance of this agenda in steering development in line with the government's agenda on development.
He challenged all of us to ideate, to innovate, and make our education system resilient and sustainable. We need to look at how best can we do this. You have seen what the government has done, and how can you plug in into what we have been able to do.
EdTech East Africa CEO Jennifer Kota Otieno outlined the goals of this summit, saying it was geared towards congregating the different players in the education technology industry to speak with one voice that would lead to improved teaching and learning outcomes in Kenya and wider East Africa through the use of technology.
We're hosting the summit here at Semastea very intentionally because we wanted to show the innovation that's happening within the public sector as well. We said, okay, this is a great opportunity for us to bring together all of those disparate conversations and build one coordinated conversation.
Colin Shadrack for Legends Edition.
Now a campaign encouraging people of African descent whose ancestors were victims of the transatlantic slave trade to return to Africa has gained momentum, with over 30 African Americans visiting the country who are believed to be keen on establishing a permanent home right here in Kenya.
The group, composed of 40 African Americans, arrived in the country over the weekend. The group is here to trace their ancestry and reconnect to their African culture.
If you're not connected with your roots, do you know who you are? The Jewish
Asians, Hispanics, everybody. They know where they come from, who they are. Black Americans, Black Europeans who haven't been able to connect and come back to Africa, they don't know who they are. So they start acting like the colonizers, and it doesn't make sense. So you have to know who you are, and you have to come back to an African country, a black African.
On Tuesday, part of the group were integrated into the Nubian community in a brief ceremony conducted in Kibra, Nairobi.
Wanaweza rudi, wengine wanaweza amua waje ishi na sisi huko. Ndio unajua mtu lazima atafute mahali alikotoka na nini vitu kama hivi. Sasa muhimu ndio sasa naona lazima ajue utamaduni wetu. Akishafahamu utamaduni ndio sasa afanye nini? Wajihusishe na sisi. Wakienda kule kwao watasema hivi na hivi, wataeleza vile walitoka naye hapa. Ndio wakija. Sasa Mungu nyoyo zao inaenda ikabadilika na wakajihusisha na jamii yetu ya Kenya.
According to Kia Simons, who is the coordinator of the campaign, remarked that the integration offers an opportunity to the group to dispel the miseducation that has been systematically passed to black generations.
Our traditional myths that has been told about Africa to African Americans through our school systems and socially. And so we're often overlooked as far as history is concerned, and right now, right here, we're dispelling the myths of Africa.
Apart from settling and establishing permanent residence in Kenya, the returning African Americans are also keen on exploring the investment opportunities back home. The repatriation of the black people living in diaspora was a key message of the black liberators in 1960s.
Well, I'd like to get the expert view on the practicality of that return after so many years, centuries, living in the United States. Now, an innovative plan by government and the private sector to promote conservation on Dundori Forest by involving communities bordering it is improving the forest cover in that area. Through an environmental initiative, locals through Dundori Forest Association have assumed a central role in environmental conservation by practicing proper agronomical practices in their homes and sourcing for alternative sources of timber for industrial as well as fuel uses.
For years now, environmental stakeholders drawn from both the government and the private sector have been incorporating locals in Dundori, Nakuru County, with an aim of curbing illegal logging and stem forest fires, two of the biggest threats to the resource. The Kenya Forest Service, International Tree Foundation, ITF, and Wezesha community-based organization jointly designed to promote conservation of Dundori Forest, which is now improving the forest cover at Dundori.
We listen so much, and we are able to address the felt needs of these communities in relation to food. We are doing indigenous food security, particularly food crops that are what you can put in parentheses that are orphaned. These are drought resistant. We are able to empower communities so that they are able to restore and propagate and cultivate these fruits.
Environmental stakeholders have been providing funds to pay community members who are engaged as laborers in carrying out certain environmental conservation jobs in the forest. Through the initiative, locals in return practice agronomical activities in their homes and looking for alternative sources of timber for industrial and fuel uses.
Hii kazi yetu ya miti haina retirement. Wakati tumeshikana, hata wazee wenye unaona hawezi kwenda huko mashamba kwa sababu huku kwetu mashamba yanapatikana mbali, akikuja hapa anapata sehemu yake, anaweza kujikuza.
Hiyo chakula inatusaidiaga na watoto wetu. Saa ingine tunapanda viazi na sasa nimepanda jugu ile nitauza na isaidie mimi hata watoto wangu.
The initiative has sensitized at least 3,600 members of Dundori Community Forest Association on climate change, offering training on afforestation initiatives and helping them to find alternative sources of livelihoods that do not destroy the forest.
We are trying to conserve the area
so that they can have they can have enough water that they can be used for their domestic use.
The environmentalists say, together with members of Dundori Forest Association, have identified indigenous tree seeds to be planted in the forest which respond well to erratic weather and are resistant to pests and diseases. The venture also aims to identify and map rare and endangered indigenous Kenyan tree species in Nakuru County. Irene Mchuma Odem, The Legends Edition.
The conservation of Dundori Forest story brings us to our second break right here on The Legends Edition. We'll be back on the other side of the break.
Feel the excitement. Relish every moment. Get 1.5 GB at 50 bob, valid for 3 hours. Furahia futa. Dial *544 hash. Make Chaguo smarter na Airtel, the most affordable network.
To get the pit as your skiza tune, dial *811 *397 hash.
You may be in the pit. You do not see how you could get out. But the good news is that you do not have to get by yourself. The Most High God is about to lift you out. He's about to turn the medical report. He's about to free you. He's about to open new doors, bringing new opportunities, new relationships. The pit is not your destination. Get ready to rise.
To get the pit, dial *811 *397 hash. *811 *397 hash.
Very well, very well, very well. It's now time to cross over to the world of sports. And, you know, Topi, my senior, it's always a pleasure to be on the same set with you. Qatar, FIFA World Cup, 5 teams only, representing a continent of 54 countries. I don't know, perhaps some ground is being covered. But the thing I want to pick your mind on is it's the first time local coaches are leading African teams. Cisse, for example, is in charge of Senegal. I think Ghana also has a local coach. But my question is, what's the significance of going global but localizing our approach to coaching?
No, it's interesting because like the African teams have always had, international coaches. I mean, like somebody like Claude Leroy has coached like almost 5 African countries. Remember on Reinhard Fabisch also had coached so many teams in Africa. But now this time, and it's very interesting that out of the 3 coaches, of the 5 coaches, 3 of them have all been full backs. Aliou Cisse played as a back for Senegal, and same to Cameroon's Rigo Besson. And we have seen that, and also someone like, Walid Legragui of Morocco. So you see, this is a significant because we always have people, and you remember when Cameroon did very well in 1990, apart from the coach, Russian coach Nepomniachtchi, they were actually, his assistants were all Cameroonian coaches. And he never spoke even the language, by the way.
Exactly. And we have a mutual friend who also did very well, the late Benjamin Ayimba, on all the rugby assignments abroad.
Because you see, the local coaches know the team, they know the players personally, so they don't need to study them, they don't need to study where this one is coming from. So local coaches have got an easier way of bonding with the players than probably the foreign coaches, and that comes along when sometimes the pep talk requires that personal touch.
That's right. Thank you, Senior. That's why you're a senior.
Okay, thank you very much, Tom. Of course, I know you're still on standby with the rest of the news. And on the sporting scene, Australia earned their first points at the 2022 World Cup in Qatar after beating Tunisia 1-0 at the Al Janoub Stadium. Michel Duke's improvised first-half header secures the points for the Soceros, who would have been knocked out by a defeat. Tunisia have just 1 point and are yet to score in Qatar. Australia sparked their World Cup campaign into life thanks to the 1-0 win over Tunisia, secured by Michel Duke's excellent first-half header. Graham Arnold's side, who lost their opening game to France on Tuesday, went into the game knowing another defeat would end their World Cup hopes with a game to spare. Australia sits second in Group D with 3 points from 2 games, having been well beaten 4-1 by holders France in their tournament opener.
Suter times that challenge to perfection.
Of course, the victors of France this evening beat Denmark 2-1. Now, Robert Lewandowski scored his first World Cup goal as Poland earned a crucial 2-0 victory over Saudi Arabia that leaves Group C wide open. Barcelona striker capitalized on an error by Saudi Arabia midfielder Abdel Al-Malki before sending a composed finishing past on-rushing goalkeeper Mohamed Al-Owais. Zelinski had given Poland a first-half lead from Lewandowski's cutback, but Saudi Arabia were awarded a penalty 5 minutes later for Christian Bielik's fall on Saleh Ali Shehri, which was kept out by Szczesny. Lewandowski's late strike ended Saudi Arabia's hopes of building on Tuesday's remarkable victory over Argentina and boosts Poland's hopes of reaching the last 16 for the first time since 1986, when they were beaten 4-0 by Brazil in the first knockout round. Poland play Argentina in their Group C final game on Wednesday, while Saudi Arabia face Mexico at the same time.
No, it's saved! Szczesny makes a brilliant save for Poland.
Now, Audrey Jebet, Langat and Nathan Matimu emerged victorious in the girls and boys categories, respectively, at the Nairobi NCAA Junior Age Group Swimming Championships, which started today at the Makini School. Over 1,000 swimmers are taking part in the 2-day championship, all eyeing a slot to represent Kenya in the Kana Zone 3 Championship set to be held in Arusha, Tanzania.
The competition attracted over 1,000 swimmers aged 5 years and above, and we have to choose a team to represent Kenya in the Kana Zone 3 Championship set to be held in Arusha. Langat Audrey Chebet of Briban Swimming Club was the winner in the girls category after gaining a total of 5 points, and she was followed by Kotut Moige in the second spot with 3 points, while Irangi Nina was third with a point.
I've just done 1,500 and the experience was good. It was a challenging race, it was a challenging race, but at the end I managed to finish, which I'm proud of. I did a time which I'm also proud of, and it was a good event.
In the men's category, Nathan Matim of Briban Swimming Club was the best with 5 points, while Michael Mishuki of Brookhouse School was second with 3 points. Abdullahi Omar of Briban Swimming Club finished third with a point. The event ends on Sunday at the Makini School in Nairobi.
It was a tough race. I was able to come second, improved my time, and I believe that the next time I do it, I'll be first.
I won my heat and I placed third overall. And I'd like to pursue swimming further, preferably in college, and hopefully reach the Olympics.
So we ask up all our stakeholders to come together and find a solution to this issue, whereby we really subjecting our swimmers to things that are not correct and demotivating them into doing better in their swimming. So let's work together and make sure that we solve our issues and get the federation back on track, so that we can be able to serve our swimmers the right way and promote swimming in Kenya.
And that is a wrap for the sports this evening. And remember, Tom Yajo talked about local coaches. And also remember Marshall Mulwa. Coach Marshall Mulwa was also very instrumental in the Harambee Stars in the early 80s, in the 80s and 90s. Yeah, so African coaches are quite good.
Where's Marshall?
Well, he's around. He was found he was in Saudi Arabia sometime. He'd gone to seek green pastures after ending his coaching career. But he's back home now. He's quite good. I mean, he looked good the day he appeared on national television. But he's back. But now we need to move further, of course. And of course, right now, of course, also Kenya has also got a local coach. And I believe that, they should be able to go far. I think once we take care of our coaches, pay them well.
Yeah.
Give enough money.
Money matters.
For the players as well.
Yeah.
We can go far.
Okay, great. You know what? I wanted to ask you which team you're rooting for, but I remembered we were supposed to be very objective.
You want me to take? Of course, apart from the African teams, my team from time immemorial has always been Brazil.
Okay. My team is the one that will win.
Is that the one you're rooting for as well?
Well, may the best team win. Senior, do we bring this to a halt now?
Yeah, I think we need to, but it's been a good evening. And I'm Topi Lembila and wishing you the best of the World Cup soccer, because World Cup equal KBC.
Very well. Well, we want to thank you so much for watching. That's all the time we had for. On behalf of the entire Legends Edition team, including my senior, Topi Lembila, and our sign language interpreter, Lucy Mwaura, thank you so much for watching. My name is Tom Mboya. Good night from Nairobi, Kenya.
Aya, yani tumeuza pickup mzima saa hii.
Imeisha. Kila mtu anataka kununua kwako.
Siri ni hii, mimi hupanda na Dhabiti DAP.
Dhabiti Algon Fertilizer is your surest partner in successful farming. Dhabiti is available in various sizes that suit your pocket. Algon Kenya, transforming farms and lives through technology.
Kupata maisha kama Skiza Tune yako, bonyeza *811 *816#.
Maisha ni mafupi, hivyo si vyema kumaliza muda mwingi katika malumbano. Hesabu baraka zako, wathamini rafiki zako na tabasamu ili udumishe amani.
Kupata maisha, bonyeza *811 *816#. *811 *816#.
Make transactions anywhere in the world with the NCBA Visa card and stand a chance to win big. Join the FIFA World Cup 2022 when you win an all-expenses-paid trip for you and your +1 to watch 2 games. Or win exciting weekly prizes that will make your FIFA viewing experience super duper. All it takes is a swipe or a tap to pay 2,000 Kenya shillings or more with your NCBA Visa debit or credit card. The more you swipe or tap to pay, the higher your chances of winning with 1 point for every 2,000 Kenya